Morning all, and welcome to the Drainage Committee meeting today. I'd like to welcome you all and thank you all for your attendance. With this, now last I call upon Grace to open our meeting with a karakia, please, Grace.
Yes, as soon as I meet my phone. Nui tātou. E te atu nui ana mātou kia koe. E arawina mātou e awhina tia mātou e ngā wākatoa. Ko koe hoki e orane e manane amane. Dear Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for those that have gathered to make decisions on our mana o te wai, and we ask that you give us good decision making. We also give humble blessings to the Reynard whānau who have lost a loved one in the last couple of days. We ask that you put your koroa of love around him and his whānau and those of no one. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Grace. I'll just ask for apologies. I have received an apology from Ross McKinley and also an apology from Greg, who will have to depart early today. I'd like to move that our apologies be accepted. Dave, all in favour? Aye. Carried. Thank you. I'd also like to move that we confirm the agenda for today's meeting. Second to that information, please, Greg. Favour? Aye. Carried. To remind members to declare any conflicts of interest on any items on the agenda. I will declare mine. I am currently employed by Kaipara District Council in a permanent role. Any views expressed by me during this meeting are my personal views only and are expressed in my capacity as Chair of the Raupo Drainage Committee, as a representative of the Raupo Drainage District targeted ratepayers. The opinions and views expressed are not in my capacity as an employee of Kaipara District Council and are not necessarily the opinions of my employer or the elected members of Council. This conflict has also been declared with KDC. Are there any other potential conflicts on today's agenda? None. Thank you. We have no public forum items today, so we'll move to item 3. I'll take the minutes of the previous meeting as read. I will move them to be corrected. Is there any discussion on that? It's seconded that the previous minutes are correct. Correct. Actually, hang on.
No,
you weren't.
Well, yeah, I can't do it. Okay.
No,
I was there.
Councillor Lindsay. There is no discussion on those previous minutes. To the vote, all those in favour?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Carried. I'll move to item 4.1, Raupo Drainage Operations Report. Wayne will present. Wayne and Brian.
The Raupo Operations Report, October 24 to February 25. Activities in the last quarter. Floodgates. Every removal has been completed in the following floodgates: number 33 and 42. Floodgate door support chains and shackles have been replaced on floodgate 6A, which is in Cakenell, the Aspinall and Field co-outlets. Floodgate door face timbers are replaced on floodgate 45, Wilson Landing, and 39 Westlake Road. Machine cleaning of Cakenell and below the State Highway 12 bridge is currently underway. Routine repair work has been required along with bank repair prior to the final clean of the Long Reach extension. Machine cleaning is presently underway on drain 45 Wilson Landing Road. Sections of the drains 45 102 beside Simpson Road will be cleaned at this time. Drain spraying round one of the Raupo's district contract 524 was completed at $125,054.69 in December 24, and the district are monitoring further spraying for round two. Pumps, a support frame has been made for the floodgate PTO drive assembly to be mounted in the pump shed for easy access and mounting. Miscellaneous, the Phoenix Palm stumps from 150 Wallace Road that was stacked up for burning have been removed from the North Ash property.
Morning, everyone. Just give you a quick update on the Murphy-Bow Stop Bank. The summer works are complete. Final cleanup, spreading of topsoil, fencing has been done. The regrassing will be required. Minimal suitable weather. We'll have had a little bit of rain lately, but not enough, obviously. The budget overspend will be reported in Jesse's finance report a little bit later. And the G Canal Raupo, the main construction works are complete. So all civils and main construction in the canal are complete. The remaining closeout works, the gate mechanisms and the gates themselves are yet to be fitted. The flap gates are constructed and the operating mechanisms are under construction and yet to be fitted. So just an update, the flap gates are ready for delivery, potentially be this week. Corrosion protection is yet to be applied, so the cathodic protection, anodes, etc., yet to be fitted. We're currently reviewing prices on that. We're treating that as a separable portion to the main contract, so that's underway as far as a review of those costs go, and some costs are yet to come in on that. Ladders and guardrails are yet to be manufactured and fitted, so they've been designed as additional to the main scope of works. And the final costs are yet to be confirmed. It's currently tracking over budget. And again, Jessie will report on those figures in her financial report. Thank you.
The other thing is activities planned for the next quarter. We're proceeding with follow-up work on floodgates identified from the inspections. There's nothing major looming there. Machine cleaning, repairs are made to internal stop bank on drain 53 and repairs to spray truck access on drain 55. Further machine cleaning on K Canal on the southern side to be decided. As I said, we're monitoring the district's drains for spraying, so there may be selected drains sprayed prior to the main start of round two. And pumps, just a general maintenance of our pump schedule to be completed. Thank you.
Thanks, team. Have we got any questions? David?
Who's doing the work for putting the safety rails up?
For the G Canal?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Barfoot Construction are doing the main construction work and separable portion 2, and they've subcontracted Compton's Engineering for the floodgate manufacture and the mechanism installation. Yeah.
Is it floodgate manufacturer?
Compton's, yeah.
Thank you.
Nice.
Just the Phoenix Palms, you mentioned that they were removed.
Yes.
Yeah, where did they go? Or where did we?
I found a site for them.
Okay.
The
G
question
Canal
about-
Raupo,
Sorry?
G Canal, it's got Raupo in here.
Yeah, that's the project name.
Oh, okay.
Floodgate project. Councillor Vincent?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of items that are on that table of projects. One relating to the
Appendix A?
Appendix A, road height of Whitcomb Road something needs to happen to make something happen. And if we could add somewhere on the record that we request advice as to when this will be actioned, because it can't be actioned by the Raupo Drainage Committee or within its budget. It's from the Kaipara District Council.
I quite agree with you. It's a time
It was
something.
a very astute pickup, Councillor Vincent, and it was an item I was going to address directly. So if I can speak to that, it was just a couple of, and this is for the benefit of you, Nick, coming on board. So the Appendix A was basically outcomes from the Chair's report regarding the effects of the cyclone. It's just a couple of the notes there, so that the notes, the comments attached to FPLD 20, particularly regarding Whitcomb Road, the bulk of those comments in there are largely irrelevant. They're just relating to the drainage maintenance in that area. But the key point is the comment need to raise with roading. So we had areas of roading which are strategic within the district that have degraded over time in road heights. And so it had been signalled to these, my understanding that these repairs were to be signalled within the LTP process. But to date, we've actually had there's been no official feedback. We're also cognizant of the fact there's been significant changes within roading management, the way KDC is managed, but we need to ensure the two particular items relating to roading, there should actually be a third one there regarding Wallace Road too, but the roading items are not, don't sort of sit in the abyss. The purpose of this appendix is they remain discoverable in public and in our face the whole time, so they don't get dropped off. But we could probably request, the committee can request through you, Nick, to actually, if you could pursue the roading team and just if we can get an update on some timings around those repairs.
Yep, that's 20 and 23.
Items 20 and items 23, yes.
I had another query too.
Mark. Yep.
So thank you, Mr. Chairman. The last item, Te Kowhai Valley, seems to me this is something for the regional council to step up and perhaps provide the necessary capital works required to bring it up to a standard that would then make it appropriate for the Raupo drainage district to be extended to include it. And I wonder at the best way of engaging with the regional council, whether it is via the local Kaipara ward member or CE to CE, or which. I'm open to suggestions. I'm just raising as an issue. It's like we just seem to be kicking it around and not make any progress with it. And I think it is something that should be used.
So again, for context here, this was the Te Kowhai Valley was also mentioned on my report regarding the cyclone. The Te Kowhai Valley sits outside the mandate of the Raupo Drainage Committee, but they are immediately neighbouring us. They were quite heavily affected, so it was signalled to KDC that the effects of what the cyclone was in that particular area as part of my report on the cyclone. And the instruction was at that time that KDC were to investigate how to mitigate or work towards getting resolutions for Te Kowhai Valley. Again, it's there hasn't been a lot of progress on that one either.
I need a decent discussion on it because
I just want other members.
you got to be careful what you wish for here.
Sure.
Any interaction I've ever seen with NRC and ours has been a disaster. So inviting them in, frankly, I'd be really nervous about. I think we need a decent discussion at some point around, and also the ratepayers on the other side, I think almost the first step, need to accept their rates are going to go up by the amount of our targeted rate. That might kill it.
They have
Another work with the process, and there's no process.
There is significant infrastructure challenges in Te Kowhai Valley that are not budgeted for. And it is a ticking time bomb. So it really should be addressed certainly from a governance level and then coming down and to initiate some formal discussion.
Land was purchased at a price, recognising the fact it sat outside the drainage district. So put a commercial overlay on the thing. It probably is bearing the risk that the property owners were prepared to stand by buying there. That's the blunt commercial look of it. Change that, I would be very cautious about pushing any button.
Yeah, I wouldn't be I'd be looking to initiate some discussion. This discussion needs to be had about the way forward. I wouldn't be racing into amalgamations and bringing other areas into the district, because there are significant challenges up there. It would just simply not fair to burden the Raupo targeted group until those infrastructure challenges are addressed. So with that, I'd actually just look into it again, ask you again, Nick, if you could actually pursue that discussion, whether it's with the chief executive, to see what sort of direction we can take on it. Yeah, get something reported back for the next meeting.
Is that the correct approach? That's top down. Should this not be bottom up?
I just think we've signalled it. We've got no mandate of what happens in Te Kauwhai Valley. So we've signalled it.
Except the point that it dissects with our drainage district, we've certainly got.
It's on our boundary.
Yep.
Yeah. The Te Kauwhai water does not interface directly with ours. So there is.
I understand that, but
there is a physical.
Any solution, it's hard to imagine a solution that wouldn't involve us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do we wanting an agenda item, full discussion for the next governance meeting?
I'm going to go, yeah.
Would you like to move to that effect, Chris?
I'll second.
Okay, so we've got a motion that this item is brought forward for the next governance meeting for formal discussion as an item in the agenda.
I'm just going to add to part B, for the motion. So it will be noting the operations report and that.
Okay, yeah.
So is that also is it just about Te Kauwhai? Does that work?
We could probably include the other voting items under the same.
That's fine, I can reword this one, so I'm done, but that's right, it's captured. So,
Are there any further questions to the team regarding the operations report? No? Well, we need to take a motion to note the report.
oh, sorry, I'm doing it in one motion.
Okay.
As long as the mover and seconder are happy with that. Yeah. Sorry, who's the mover and seconder? I didn't.
Greg.
I agree.
Move. Great. Could I just ask you to read the motion for the room when you finish, when you complete it, Alana, please?
Valley. So notes the Raupo drainage operations report, 1st November 2024 to 28th February 2025, and B, requests that a report providing an update on the Appendix A roading items and Te Kauwhai Valley item is brought to the next committee meeting. Okay.
We run a report on Te Kauwhai Valley? We don't, do we? We're going to just develop some principles on the basis of which we'll look at.
It's the roading item, so.
Didn't report on the roading items. We need to, how do we want to word the motion to initiate the discussion on Te Kauwhai Valley? That's really what we. So you're gonna need some, we're gonna need a bit more background. There will be a report on it, I guess, because we're gonna need some background information to come.
Provide background information
Background information.
that'd be
regarding
helpful.
it to come for.
Providing-
Next couple of meetings.
and background information.
Just don't want any buttons pushed anywhere.
Yeah. But the alternative is to delete the item from that list rather than just kick it around.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. We've got to deal with it one way or another. I agree with you totally.
So the chair, if it has been through the committee, maybe just an update report to is wise to bring it back to the committee to then, even if it is to close.
This isn't regarding Te Kopai Valley.
Yes.
Yeah, the only thing that has come through here was the chair's report.
Okay.
Like when
As part
Gabrielle
of the-
report, there's
The
been,
matrix.
yes, there's been no further discussion on it because it was, the purpose of the report was to notify KDC of the infrastructure challenges up there. So it's effectively sat with council since that report was adopted.
I'm sorry, are you wanting an update report providing background information on Te Kopai Valley? Is that what you're requesting?
And yeah, I guess we want to have an open discussion on
Would it be an issues and options report?
possibly, yes,
Just to, we've got a basis for some informed discussion.
and which other stakeholders need to be dragged in. Ideally, Northern Regional Council, stakeholder in some shape or form.
You'd almost need a briefing
Hmm.
rather than a meeting.
Yeah.
Not
Must be feasible.
options. Okay.
We're not looking to make a decision on it. We just want to be able to form a better handle on what the issues are and how they might be approached.
Okay, so then we may need to have a briefing of the committee then,
Okay.
alongside the next meeting, if you're wanting to discuss that item and have stakeholders join that briefing.
Yeah.
That would be the way forward, I think.
The
Yes,
price,
if you look at our role, it's to act in the interests of the Raupo Drainage District, isn't it?
yes,
Right. So this sits outside of that. The most fundamental question you've got to ask yourself, is it in the interests of targeted ratepayers to extend the boundary? That's where I'd start as the governor.
so we signalled the infrastructure challenges, and that
Yep,
was,
that's
that
right.
was to notify KDC of something they may not have been aware of.
Mhm.
So since the chair's report was noted and adopted to council, there hasn't been any further progress with it. So the concern is it's dropped off the radar.
Okay. Okay,
Could we even bring it, I don't know, have a vanilla something in your resolution and we have a chat in our informal meeting?
in the operations
Yeah.
working group.
To define it.
Hmm.
We all agree there needs to be a discussion. I'm just trying to work out which forum that's going to take.
Right.
I'm sorry, Chair.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Greg.
Keeps the quorum, but yes, that's all.
Thank you. Condolences.
Well, it could go to the operations working group and then through Nick, you can request to get an item on the agenda.
Okay.
So
Let's
it
do it that
doesn't
way
need
on
to be,
that particular item.
it doesn't actually need to be recorded in the motion. We can take
Yeah.
that action.
We'll leave the roading component in the
Okay.
motion. We'll address.
Sorry, I've lost the mover now, so I won't be able, we'll need to.
I'll move to that effect.
It may be that it's not an either or thing. There might be other options available which improves the situation for the people living in that catchment, but it doesn't mean to something that's an added burden on the Raupo Drainage District. Somehow, if the regional council came to the party, it's an obvious choice, but maybe other options.
Okay, we'll pick up the discussion around that forum and that with the operations working group.
Right.
Awesome. Okay, so request that a report providing an update on the Appendix A roading items be brought to the next committee meeting. We've got.
Yep.
Sorry, you finished. Is that questioning?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, lads.
Thank you.
Sorry, grab it. Okay.
So I've moved, so we need that reseconded.
Yes. You're happy to just.
All those in favour?
Aye.
It's carried. Thank you. Item 4.2. Raupo Drainage Financial Report. Jessie to present, please.
Morning, everybody. Okay, this is your financial report for the period ended 31 January 2025. So there's a couple of things just to talk through. If you look at your year-to-date actuals column, that is your actuals for January. Maintenance costs are a lot. You're not spent as much as you've got in there to spend. I'm not sure of the cycles that you normally go through, but you've definitely got a lot in your maintenance budget that is not spent. And in your capital costs, you can see what's happening on the CapEx analysis note 4. So you've got the Murphy Bowers Ruai Stock Bank reinstatement project that currently, as of the 31st of January, is overspent by $393,111. But what I've done is just show a credit there because we know that the Kaipara District Council has agreed to fund that in the annual plan. So what that credit does is just, if you look back at the top of the report, it puts money back into your pot. So your accumulated fund balance as of 31 January is back up to $871,000, where it had depleted last year because of that overspend. So my understanding is that the $430,000 will be required. There's $40,000 left to spend to close out that project. And then at the moment we have the other big capital project, Raupo Canal G floodgate, that is currently not yet overspent. It's funded by a subsidy, external subsidy from MBIE, but the project teams are expecting that they need 1.3 million to close out the project, and that is an estimated shortfall of 700,000. So what the project teams are doing is they're seeking external funding and reallocations of other project funds to meet that shortfall, but don't have confirmation on that yet. So if you've got any questions on any of this, I'm happy to answer.
Thanks, Jessie. I just got not so much a question, but a comment regarding the operational spend. Obviously, this is to January, so there has been significant work being undertaken in the period to now. So there will be a truer reflection at the next meeting. One cost centre in particular, the machine cleaning cost centre, is going to be well over budget, but that will be offset by the underspend within the other budget codes. The K Canal, we haven't got the full pricing of the K Canal clean, which has proved operationally challenging, and then we've got other machine cleaning which happen at the same time. So I expect the other cost centres themselves to actually probably be down a bit, but that particular one is going to look out of the ordinary.
That's no problem. That's no problem.
Any other questions regarding the financial report? It's just important to reiterate, as described in the paper, that the cost overruns for both of the CapEx, the liability of that, it does not lie with the drainage district. We've had that noted to make that quite clear. The only update, as Jessie has explained, is that the final sourcing of budget overspend for G Canal has not yet been finalised. Are there any other, no questions? I'd like to move that we note the finance report. Second, please. Grace. All those in favour? Aye. It's carried. Thank you, Jesse. Item 4.3, Drainage Committee 2025 elections. Ask Alana when she's finished to present.
Oh, it really gives me 1 second. In a minute. Good morning, all. Morena. So this report provides an update on the upcoming membership review or elections for the Raupo drainage, for the ratepayers of the Raupo drainage area towards the Raupo Drainage Committee. So the committee is a statutory committee under the Local Government Act 2002 and the Local Government Northland Region Reorganisation Order 1989. Committee's terms of reference, which is provided in attachment A, require that elections for ratepayer members happen before the triennial local body election, and that is falling on the 11th of October this year. So there will be an election process that will take place for the Raupo Drainage District ratepayers between May and July this year. Nominations will be open from May the 1st to May 23rd, and they'll be mailed out to the ratepayers in the district. So that's both the rural and township targeted rate areas. And they can be returned by post, email, or dropped off at the council offices. There are a minimum of 4 ratepayer members required to be on the committee legally. But once nominations have been processed, they'll be taken to council for confirmation. Currently, there are 6 ratepayer members on the committee, and we have 1 elected member. Council confirms the membership. So if there are more than, well, if there are 6 or more, that will go to council. And it has been in the past years, since 2004, I think 6 ratepayer members have been on the committee. And there wasn't, the last election was held in 2004. If there are a number of nominated candidates, I'd say maybe 7 and beyond, council may decide there might be a cap, and then that would trigger an election. So if and it would go to the vote. So if that happens, then voting forms will be mailed out to all the ratepayers, and the completed forms would be returned by post or dropped into the council offices. And the voting forms, each ratepayer household will get 1 form, and on that form will be 4 candidates to vote for. So that's the minimum number. It's unlikely that we will go to a vote situation, just given the past history, but yeah, we have to be prepared for that, and we are prepared for that, but we won't know until we take the candidates to council for confirmation. And there was a question from Greg, and that was just to clarify the 1 vote, and that is that it's not 1 vote on the form, it's the minimum of 4 and 1 vote per ratepayer household is the response to that. The results for the election and the confirmation will, for the election, if it plays out, will be taken to the 30th of July council meeting. And yeah, if there's any questions about the process, happy to answer them.
So just the nomination forms will be sent to each.
Yeah, so we will,
ratepayer.
yep, each ratepayer household, and it's just dependent on how they've requested to get their ratepayer bill. If they receive it by mail or by email, they'll either be emailed or posted.
Just a question / suggestion, in the event that we do need to have an election, would it be helpful to have rather than people having to go to either Dargle or Mangawai to find a post box or whatever, that there was a facility in the Foursquare.
I could look at that.
That's when the time
We
comes.
are getting election bins for the local elections, and there will be an election bin for the local elections in the Foursquare in Raupo. I don't know if we'll have that in time because it's a secure bin.
Mhm.
It's lockable. It's basically like a wheelie bin that's locked, and it will have. If that is available, I could look to use that. It's just about the security. I'd have to check, but we would also be on site on election. There will be election day, a Saturday. We will be in the hall here, and probably in the front room, and people will be able to come in and drop their forms off. So, but yes, it's something they could explore. It's just.
I imagine that will be a riveting day for the staff involved.
Yeah. I like elections.
Okay, are there any further questions for Alana on that paper? I'd like to move that we note that paper. Seconder, please.
Grace.
Great. All those in favour?
Aye.
It's carried. Thank you. That being the end of the official business for the meeting, I'd like to call the meeting close and ask Grace if she could close with our closing karakia, please.
Tau kia tātai katoa te atu whai o tō tātou ariki ihu karati. I te aroha o te atua, ni te whiwhina taitanga ki te wairua tapu, aki aki tonu, āmene.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your attendance. We will organise a working operations group meeting in reasonably short time to pick up that discussion.